It says it's working.
Hello, YouTube family.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Yeah, I don't know the last time we went live.
Neither do I. But today marks. Whoa, hold on. I got it over here so I can read the typing, and it's making all kinds of crazy noise. And it turns out we got ads. It looks like. But today marks 4 years living full time in a van. And our 9-year wedding anniversary.
Yep.
Which means 5 years into being married. I'd say it was me that made this happen more in the beginning. I convinced her that this was a great idea.
That means we've lived in a van for almost half of our married life.
Yeah. Currently, the dog situation, his name is currently Buddy Holly.
I don't think everybody knows about the dog situation.
Well, most people seem to.
So everyone's here for the dog.
Yeah.
Which we posted today on Instagram. Those of you that aren't there know, or we'll catch you up. We're in New River Gorge National Park this morning, and we were going to spend the day driving around exploring, and about 20 minutes into that drive we saw a little beagle on the side of the road.
She did, I didn't.
Yep. And so we stopped because he was just laying there and it seemed odd. We were literally in the middle of nowhere, and he came right up to me. He seemed really sweet, kind of skinny, and so he's in the van now because the shelter said they couldn't take him. I don't know if they're full. They said they were closed due to COVID, but they had dogs there. It was really weird.
Closed to the public for COVID currently.
Yeah. We took him to the vet, and he's not chipped. So now we're just kind of trying to figure out what to do with him because we can't keep him.
We de-ticked him as best as we could.
Yeah, I took 6 ticks off of him. There's probably more. We're not sure.
Hopefully there aren't too many in the van. We got him a tick pill at the vet, and they said it should start killing them within a couple hours, so they should start falling off pretty soon.
Yeah.
And that's that. He's on the floor. I keep looking down at him.
We'll bring him over a little bit later.
In a bit.
He gets pretty excited.
But the point of this video was to do some Q&A for folks that were interested in asking us anything about living in a van for 4 years. So
yeah, so thanks to those of you who sent in questions.
Yeah.
And thanks to those of you who are dialing in now. So we'll
run through the ones that we got sent in real quick. And then if you have any questions, put them in the chat, comments, whatever you want to call it, and we'll go through those in a minute.
Yeah.
But the first one that we got was, I'm wondering how often you've had to pack up camp and move due to annoying or unruly neighbors. And then they also don't like cigarette smoke, and are there still tons of people that smoke everywhere? The smoking part, I would say there's a lot less people smoking these days than back in the day. But it does seem region dependent. So there are certain areas we find a lot more people smoking. And I think it was in, where did we test drive the truck? What town was that?
Somewhere in Tennessee.
We test drove a truck. We'll tell you about that in a bit. That was Tennessee?
Yeah.
If it was Tennessee, cigarettes were super cheap there still. It was like $3.50 a pack is what I was seeing for off-brand, which seems nuts. But yeah. How often have we packed up camp and moved due to annoying or unruly neighbors? Never, actually, right? That same night?
So this literally happened for the first time like 3 weeks ago in Biloxi, Mississippi. And we've always had good luck. Like, it seems like if we show up and there's people being loud or smoking or whatever, they pack up and leave by the time we're ready for bed, so it's never been an issue. Like, we've had touch and go situations where we think we may have to leave, but then we just wait them out. But
yeah, like Mexico, we'll get in Baja, there's party nights. It's just part of it, so we don't usually leave. I don't think we've ever left it anywhere for any of that. But yeah, so Biloxi, she just reminded me. We showed up, it was still light out. The iOverlander location talked about how there were some abandoned vehicles and kind of, we'll call it homeless population there, people living out on this little island. And it said this the cops don't really care, and most likely you'll find syringes. And we're like, okay, well, that's fine. We'll be fine in this. So we went out there. We pulled up. Literally first thing, syringe sitting in front of the van. Like, okay, we're gonna walk around with shoes on. We can still manage this. Not a problem. It's kind of a cool little area. Not within what, an hour or two.
Yeah.
There's some screaming outside the van, and I jumped up. And I thought there was some ladies fighting. Turns out it was one lady screaming at a dude that she was calling the cops. And her man and the other guy were getting into it. And her man had a knife in one hand and a crowbar in the other going after this guy. I videoed it. The crowbar was thrown but did not contact. And I looked into it. That's technically assault with a deadly weapon felony. Police came, watched the video, didn't do anything. No arrest made.
So, needless to say, we left.
Oh yeah, that was the only time we left.
Yeah, so we packed up and headed out of there. We went a little bit further down the road and slept in a casino parking lot. So.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, thanks everybody who's joining. We've got Scott and F&A Vanlife. Hey, Frankie and Alex. Sam Spallone. Hey, guys.
This is like a record amount of people, 15 of you.
Yeah,
we appreciate
thanks everyone
it.
for joining. Scott just asked what's bringing us to the East Coast.
We don't know.
We just haven't been here before, so we're here.
I want to finish visiting all 50 states. She doesn't care as much as me.
Yeah, I'm not a checklist person, but
I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
And I do think the van thing's going to be wrapping up in the near future. We can talk about that more later. So we're going to the rest of the states.
Yeah. To answer your question, Brian, we did not keep the crowbar and get a free crowbar out of it.
We could have. We left it though.
Next question.
So the other question we got ahead of time was insurance for DIY full-timers. And they said full coverage like a homeowner would have. I would say that this is an interesting subject. So we did the build on this one. So DIY full-time, which I'm assuming means, well, for us it means we're full-time, we don't have a home. So for our situation, we are with State Farm out of South Dakota. They insured the van for price of the van plus cost of materials. We just told them what we spent. They said they might need receipts for all of it. So if you're building, keep all the receipts. We have them. They didn't end up needing them because the number we gave them was lower than what they expected anyways. And then he asked what our time was worth. And we threw in, I think, another 25 grand for labor. So the van ended up being covered at, I think, like $85,000. But he literally said, pick our number. And then the rate changed based off of that. As for, it says full coverage like a homeowner would have. Most of these vehicle insurance places don't cover your personal items inside, so you need to get a separate policy for personal items. We were looking at that with them. Bicycles were really expensive to cover. Camera equipment, really expensive, things like that. So we actually have a renter's insurance policy through our home at her dad's house that theoretically covers our property in here and our property that is in our storage unit. So
yeah, so short answer is it's not like living in a home, so you can't, like, there's no solution unless you're a full-time RVer that still has a home. Then obviously you can do that. But we don't have that, and so to make that work, we have a full coverage policy on the vehicle plus the build, and then a separate policy. It's a renter's policy on our stuff. So. And
you can get a personal property policy if needed.
Yep.
All right. Next one was, did we plan on doing it for this long? No. We had originally budgeted for 2 years, planned 1 to 2, and yeah, here we are at 4. So actually within the first year we knew we're like, well, we're not going to be done with this. After 2 even, we knew that already. So we're like, we need to figure out how to make money to keep going. So that's where all 18 of you are covering the bills for us. So thank you for being here. Oh, the best question. I'm going to save that one for last year. Someone said, how did we manage our relationship in such a small place, and do we need space and stuff like that? She hasn't left me yet, but it's not easy. So, what? We don't get personal space. The only time we're really apart is if she goes and works out or if I go surfing.
I think that some people are probably better at that than we are.
Getting personal space.
Yeah, we don't tend to have like our own time, which would probably help. And we fight, like we bicker. I think you really have to like keep the narrative in your head of the other person. Like there's a tendency when you're in a small space to like always think that the other person's doing it the wrong way or differently or not the way that you would do it, and it just in the end it doesn't matter. Like saying that doesn't actually make anything better. So for us, I think the advice would be to just keep your mouth shut. Like don't pick a fight, don't criticize your significant other. And yeah, it's nice if you're outside a lot because then the space doesn't matter. Like if we go on hikes or bike rides or go fishing all day, then it's like all you want to do is cuddle up in bed at the end of the day, and it's nice that you're cozy.
I had 2 thoughts ahead of time on that one. One, I would say we don't need time apart as much as other people, I don't feel like.
Yeah.
Like we kind of don't mind being around each other. I would say most people want more space than we have. And 2, if you have problems with your relationship going into the van or moving and traveling full time, it's not going to solve them. So probably figure that out ahead of time. And then our biggest key piece of advice would be to only have one person doing something at a time in such a small space. And that was like the first couple months for us. Getting in each other's way caused the biggest problem. So now we just, someone's doing something, just stay out of the way until they're done.
Yep, take turns.
The last question that everybody seemed to like the most was, what do you do if you have diarrhea?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you guys.
It's not ideal. Well,
it's not ideal.
All of you probably know that we do not have a bathroom in our van.
We got a Home Depot bucket. It's in the back. It's not convenient to get to, but if we have to, we will use it. We have never had to. We've had to get it in the middle of the night, but we've never had to like freak out and use it with the other person sitting in here yet.
That's true.
At least I've either kicked her out, or I've gone outside with the bucket, or she's gone out, something like that.
Let's be clear. I don't generally have this problem.
Yeah, if anything, I'm
the
pooper.
Greg is the middle of the night emergency
wake
pooper.
Up and I gotta poop sometimes, and it's not.
The other night, I was
convenient.
like midnight, and I had to go outside and wait. But
I was sick
thinking
that day.
The other day, because it's been raining quite a bit, that would be the potential scenario if it was like a downpour. And then we would end up in the van while one of us is pooping together, which we have yet to do.
Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
4 years, hasn't happened yet.
Knock on
we
wood.
do pee in front of each other all the time now. Okay, so that's all the pre-questions we got. So I'm going to scroll through what everybody has said here real quick. And then if you guys want to join in on conversing, we're more than happy to have it. So how's the dog doing? The dog, you want to aim it at the dog real quick? See what the dog's doing? We're going to flip you around to the dog
sleeping,
real fast.
But yeah, I'll show you guys the dog. There is our little buddy.
There he is. He's just chilling right next to his Caesar food. So the dog's doing good.
People keep asking him what we named him, and I just call him Buddy because I call all animals Buddy.
Yep. And
so it seems to be working.
We found him in Coon Creek in the holler. And I don't know if that's Brooke.
Yeah.
Okay, Brooke's Brooke. Brooke came up with Buddy Holler.
Which is brilliant.
So I think it's Buddy Holler for now, which means it'll probably just be called Buddy.
Yeah. We have never wanted to have a dog in the van. We run into dogs quite a bit in Baja, and if that was if we were going to adopt a dog, that's where we would probably get a dog from. But it's just it's logistically too challenging. We don't want to leave a dog in the van when we're places where they're not allowed to be. I don't know. So we do need to find him a home. And he seems to be a sweet dog.
Let us know. Next one. How was the Blue Ridge Parkway? So we did did a bit of it. We went and tried to do it from the start, coming out of Great Smoky National Park, Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and it was closed right at the start of it.
20 miles were closed because there was a bridge out.
Went around it, hopped on the parkway. Technically, you're not allowed to sleep along the parkway.
Right.
But there are some nice parking lots with nice views and tons of pull-offs and pit toilets, and it was nice. We drove that for at least 100 miles. We went way out of the way, and now we've popped off of it. We popped up to West Virginia just because it was just over here, and it was one of the states we needed to hit. We're trying to get to the Outer Banks.
In a very roundabout way.
Yeah, so we're going to get there at some point. But we're not telling people when, because supposedly they kick people out for free camping there. And we're going to see what we can do about that.
To answer your question.
I already told them it was nice.
I didn't even get to say anything.
Oh, I wasn't done though. Okay, go ahead. That's all I got.
The parkway was beautiful. It was kind of coming in still, so I felt like it was maybe as akin to fall as we would get, because like the maples are kind of coming up, and so they're not totally green, but it was pretty. I'm actually just now getting over being sick. I was sick all week last week, so I wasn't having the best time. But we did a few short little hikes, and it is really cool. It's good to know it's there if we end up like settling down on this side of the country.
Yeah. Who wants to move to Tennessee with us? Not going to tell you the exact town yet, because we got to get our deal before we get everybody else's deals. So yeah, where are we going next? We said that probably the Outer Banks, but we'll see how we get there. Answered Amy's question. Hi, Amy. What's bringing you to the East Coast? We did answer that one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hi, nice to see you, Sam. What did we miss? You didn't miss much, F&A. I know you asked that a while ago.
Oh, I didn't do the Claw of the Dragon Trail. I didn't see that one.
That Claw of the Dragon... Is that a hike?
That's what it
or
sounds
is that
like.
the motorcycle twisties?
Oh, yeah, that's that, I think so. The, 113... or 331 curves in 111 miles or something.
I do like the ride to the TW like I stole it, but the speedometer stopped working on it, so I just don't know how fast I'm going anymore. My fan is squeaky. Yeah, it's definitely squeaky. They're both squeaky now, actually. But we left them on because it's getting humid and hot.
I thought I'd leave them off, but it's too hot. Sorry, guys. If the squeaking is bothering you, I apologize.
How many states do we have left? I don't know. I think there were actually like 23 on the list when we headed over here.
Yeah, but we haven't done like the whole Northeast, and that's at least
like 6 states a day because they're all right next to each other. So
yeah.
But somewhere in the not that many left now.
Someone just asked why Tennessee.
Oh, I'll get to that. Hold on. We can go in order now.
This is why I asked you if you could manage both of them.
Well, we're working on that part now. Might need to change to South Dakota for insurance. Yeah, you should. And if you do, we got a guy for you.
Mm-hmm.
I always get his name wrong, so I'm not going to tell you. But if you want it...
Doug Marksworth. We have a video.
And we got a video. And tell him we sent you because he's really awesome and he knows how to get it done.
Yeah.
Because we did call other State Farm agents and they had no clue. See right there. Well, it went away, but Brian said he had a problem with State Farm.
Oh, yeah. It just depends on who you call. This guy made it happen. He said that he has underwritten a couple policies for RVers now, and he was concerned about like the full coverage aspect of it, so he went to like the third guy in State Farm and got it okayed, so he's good to go.
Hey, Frankie and Alex, where are you crossing tomorrow, if you're crossing tomorrow? I'll read that in about a minute when I catch up with the rest of this.
Brooke said we should do the Northeast in the fall.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
It still is the plan potentially, but we're I don't know, we're struggling with gas prices, and I don't know if we're going to make it out here that long, so we'll have to see.
Brooke can't fathom sharing the van with anybody. It's okay. I would like to, sprawl out occasionally too, but I haven't kicked her out yet.
Yeah. I think if you started living in one alone, it would be really hard to join one. Oh, Rob, thank you for the
whatever
super
that thing
chat.
is. Is that what that's
Been
called?
watching for over a year now. Never miss an episode.
Thank you.
That's so kind. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
That'll go towards Buddy's kennel that we had to buy today.
we're currently about a negative 110 on this dog until he starts paying the bills somehow.
We need some like dog food sponsorships.
Yeah.
He's
FNA
sweet.
says, did we know the new leave no trace rule, no digging to poop? So what are they suggesting now? Is it pack it out or shit and smear?
Probably pack it out.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. Which I totally agree. In some places, that is 100% appropriate. It's something we've always said people should do in Baja because we're tired of walking around the beaches and seeing toilet paper everywhere. Like, it's not that hard to just poop in a bucket and take it out. There are some places where that doesn't really seem necessary, though. Like, if there's just not that much human impact,
you're way out
you
there.
could dig a hole. But
I'm curious to see what they said about it now.
It's interesting to know.
Brooke says living in New York in a van has made her great at DTB, which means direct to bag for those of you that don't know it, which is literally pooping into a bag directly, which I did do last week under a bridge.
Oh, that's true.
Downtown Asheville, North Carolina.
That was rough.
Because we were out on a walk and I needed to poop, and there are no public restrooms. Luckily, there were a bunch of tons of dog poop bag stands with garbage cans, and that was that. Dog bag.
Yeah.
Came in handy. Under the bridge. Downtown. Surfing Outer Banks. Yes, hopefully I will be surfing in the Outer Banks because I've hauled 2 boards with, and they haven't come off the van yet.
Yeah, that's true. We do need to get in the water. Greg needs to get in the water. So can we talk about why Tennessee, now that you're caught up?
Am I there yet?
So we're on this relentless property search because we're a bit lost in life and feeling like it's time to wrap up this van traveling situation. We're just like kind of yearning for a home base. We're still probably going to travel part-time for a significant portion of the year, but it's feeling like, I think especially after 2 years of COVID and not feeling like, we have anywhere to go, we would like to have a place to go. Tennessee is on the short list because it has no income taxes and it has really good opportunity for growing our own food, which is an important thing for us in the long term. And it's relatively inexpensive still. So we've been spending quite a bit of time out here in Tennessee looking at places, kind of getting a feel for certain areas because we want to make sure it's a good cultural fit for us too. And the jury's still out. I think we found a couple very promising potential areas. Now it's just the point of is there a property out here that we could fall in love with and live out here? Another concern is the weather. Humidity apparently is pretty rough for a couple months in the summer, but maybe we just leave. So
yeah,
that's why Tennessee is being investigated for a home base.
We toured a 3.5 acre organic farm that we just happened to drive by. Soulshine Farms on Instagram.
Yeah.
Check him out. He's really awesome. But we drove by and kind of creeped on him a couple times, and he came out because he was working outside and invited us in and toured the property, and it was really cool. So it's doable. But now we're like, do we want to have a few acres? Because it's a business for him. Do we want to have a farm that we're going to the farmer's market and selling and making money? Or do we just want enough just for us that we can, have our own, or maybe even just we don't even grow anything. Maybe we just have a place to be and we can just leave most of the time. Because if we do a farm for profit, we're going to have jobs. There's going to be work. So I don't know if we're ready for that yet.
Yeah, we still have some really big decisions to make, and that's partially why it's so difficult. When you start considering where you're going to settle down, it becomes really difficult when you have the whole country to choose from. Most people just pick a place where their family is or where their job is, and for us, we're trying to narrow it down to proximity to things we like to do for recreation, good growing weather, good community, cheap, cost of living. And I saw Blue Cross asked if it's cheaper than South Dakota, and I would say in general,
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
And the weather is much more favorable in Tennessee than South Dakota. The other thing to consider too is like public services, like healthcare. It's not standard across all states, so a lot of things to contribute to our decision.
But yeah, we found an acre and a half yesterday for 110 grand with a barn on it and then we found 4.5 acres for 250 with all utilities, because there used to be a mobile home on it, so we felt like it was a little expensive. Seems like home prices in the areas we're looking have literally tripled in the last year. Like if you look at Zillow, it just went like that. So I think it might come back down a bit. But I don't know what it's done in South Dakota, but we were looking last year in South Dakota. We need to put a caveat on that. We only checked the Black Hills of South Dakota because we didn't want to be anywhere else. Well, it might be cheap.
I have no idea anywhere else.
So we were only willing to go in the Black Hills if we were going to go to South Dakota, and it's not that cheap around there.
Yeah.
And then we looked in Wyoming. It's kind of expensive still for the most part. In general, you can find some cheaper stuff around outside of Cheyenne, but I don't think we want to be there. Everybody's talking about poop now.
Well, there's a couple of comments about the farm, and we're talking about that, so I'm going to continue on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you are right, you guys. If we did not know if we wanted to grow commercially, we could totally start small, and we were thinking anywhere from like 1/2 acre to 2 acres would be plenty for personal growth. It kind of depends on if we want livestock too, so that's another big question. Like chickens are easy, they don't take up a lot of space, but then if you start talking about wanting goats or to raise a cow or a pig every year, then we're talking about a little bit more land use that we need. So the 3 to 5 acres would be plenty, I think, and then that would give us room to grow commercially too if we did decide that we liked it enough and that we wanted to sell to our neighbors or at the farmer's market. So if we find a deal on something like that, then that would be ideal, because then we could start small and then have room to expand if we wanted to do more. But
yeah, so do we have a timeline for stopping when we find the right property? I was literally looking at Baja properties again last night. She was looking in Colorado and Nevada again the other day.
Yeah,
we really have no clue. It's just going to have to feel right. I do think prices are a little inflated right now, so I'd like to see them dip back down hopefully a little bit, because I don't want to buy in and then just have it lose a bunch of value. But with that said, I think whatever we buy, we're planning on keeping it for a long time, if not this being our last place. So
we're ready to buy if the right thing comes. And yes, you can absolutely come visit. You guys are all welcome to come visit.
Yeah?
Yeah. Frankie and Alex asked if they could come visit.
Brian says we can come work if we can wrangle sheep. Are they nice?
I don't know about sheep.
A lot of people looking at Idaho and Montana. Lots of snow, though. Yes. Montana's really cool. But yeah, it's cold. And then Idaho, we absolutely love it. I think if there were no costs / tax stuff, any of that stuff, Idaho would be the state we would pick. But it's also gone batshit crazy with pricing lately. I think there are still some pockets, but Idaho is a big winner too. So.
Yeah, the unfortunate part about Idaho is we should have bought there 3 years ago, because they're one of the worst places. I think Idaho and the Boise area is actually the most inflated housing market in the entire country right now. So, not going to happen.
Yeah, I saw an article the other day that Boise was 74% over what it should be market value, which is insane. Brian says Sprinkles the sheep is the sweetest. Wasn't that the one that just moved the house, the sheep house the other day?
Yeah,
about Tennessee, more water. Yes,
that's
there
a huge
is water
factor
over here
too. We talk about that a lot. That the West has a lot of water problems, and it would end up probably being an issue in the long run.
I learned that a 1,300 square foot roof, which isn't a very big roof, 1 inch of rain equates to 800 gallons of water harvested. So they get 40 some inches of rain. Do the math, that's a lot of water.
You'd have to have a lot of storage.
Also, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure I read about Tennessee, if you have a stream running through your property, you are allowed to take that water.
Yeah, much different water laws in the East, which is nice.
Boise is a tech magnet. Supposedly Nashville is too. I guess that place is going out of control.
Yeah, everywhere's growing fast. So yeah, we don't know where we're doing in life.
Noodle was someone that moved the sheep shed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. Ireland's going to give people $50,000 to come live on their islands.
Oh, really?
I'm in.
That might be alright. Is
How
there
does
like
that
a
work?
time frame requirement? Because there's a couple places, like I know Oklahoma has like a $12,000 incentive for digital nomads to move there, but you have to live there for like 2 years. So
Bye, Frankie and
not
Alex.
into that.
We hope you stay cool in Mexico and can't wait to see how it goes. Van Fam Commune. Yeah, we've talked about it a lot, and actually, like with a group of high school friends, building I guess it would be a commune of sorts. I don't know about necessarily the Van Fam. There are some great people that we like, but we were talking about it the other day. It's like literally anybody can live in a van, so we could have nothing in common whatsoever. So you'd have to find the right crew.
Yeah, I mean it's the case with any like group of people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But how do we vet it?
We've talked about the
communes don't work.
It's logistically difficult. So yeah. It always sounds good, and then you try to work it out, and it never ends up fair. But
definitely can't forget Paco. I think Paco and Buddy Holler would like each other.
Yeah, they probably would be good friends.
Maybe we should ship them down.
Do you have any other thoughts you wanted to add about full-time van life? 4 years on the road?
No.
Do you have a favorite experience?
No, I really enjoy Baja.
Yeah.
Although this last time down, it's getting really crowded down there. And I don't know if it's because the first time we went, was that a COVID time or before pre-COVID?
It was pre-COVID.
So it wasn't that busy, but then we went during like peak COVID for 10 weeks, and that was awesome because there's no one there. Because the Canadians couldn't get down. Sorry, Canadian friends. But it was great for us because you guys weren't allowed to come.
Yeah, it was mellow.
And then this time, I don't know if it was extra busy just because people hadn't been able to go the year before, but it seemed really busy this year. We are talking about possibly going down for 5 to 6 months this coming winter if we don't have land and have a project we're working on. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We have no idea what we're doing, basically. But I would say that that's one of the biggest changes over time with living in the van this long is like when we first moved into the van, it felt like we always had a plan and we had like places we wanted to go and things we wanted to see, which is still kind of the case, but we have a much lower expectation now. And I think over the years, we've just figured out that we're never going to be able to see it all and do everything. So you kind of just like take it as it comes and appreciate what you do get to do and see.
Yeah, so we have I think everyone was down in Baja this year because COVID restrictions lifting.
Yeah.
I also agree with that. I think Alaska is going to be a crapshoot this summer, so I feel for everybody heading up there right now. We're lucky we were able to get that done last year. That was last year, right?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be busy
Amen
this
for
year
jobs.
and next year, I think.
Yeah.
This summer, next summer. Yeah.
See, we got a Canadian planning on being in Baja next winter also.
All right.
Say hi.
Maybe
we'll see you down there.
there.
We will be there at some point, pretty much a guarantee. On my way to Alaska now. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be busy, but there's plenty of land. So just make it the experience you want. And it also rains a lot more than we expected.
Yeah, my advice for Alaska would just be super flexible. Like, the weather is constantly changing. It's very busy. You probably need reservations for campgrounds if you do the campground thing. But I don't know how, like, we boondock and we do free hikes and stuff, so we were able to work around it. But, okay, yeah, so they're in a 4x4, they'll be able to get away from people. That'll be nice.
What kind of rig is it? We've been talking about getting a 4x4 rig.
Yeah.
If anybody cares.
So I mentioned that, like, once we get a home base, we're still going to travel for significant portions of the year, and that probably will not be in a van. Greg's been, I don't know if you guys saw a couple videos ago, he posted a video about the Chevy.
I know, truck. Everybody, hey, it's not a Tacoma.
So he's got a Taco with a truck camper.
I know, I've seen it right now. Yeah. Sorry, it's not a Tacoma.
And that's what we're talking about doing, is like a mid-sized truck with like a pop-up angled canvas-sided
Super
lightweight.
Pacific campers is the one we kind of narrowed it down to. There's four-wheel campers. I think it was called the M series, which doesn't have anything in the bed, so the bed would still be the bed. Same with the Super Pacific. And then Go Fast Campers GFC is the other one, which is very similar to Super Pacific, but I think they're lighter. We don't
have to get into all the details.
I'm just going to go. But they're lighter, but I don't think it's quite as nice of a design. So Super Pacific's what I'm leaning towards, unless anybody has anything to say on that.
Yeah. They are spendy, but the van was spendy too. And this is going to be a travel rig for several month-long road trips, so we need it to be, like, livable. It can't just be, like, car camping. We're parked next to this Subaru in the Walmart parking lot, and they're, like, yard sailed out behind them, and we were both like, we're never car camping ever again.
Yeah.
So it has to be comfortable enough. I mean, it's going to be a simpler version of a van, much more simplified, because we do want to be able to go more off-road and go to these more, like, hard-to-reach places.
But truck prices are insane now. Yeah. This one that we're looking at, it's like 50 grand plus for a mid-sized truck. It's nuts. But
wind noise is bad in pop-ups.
Yeah, I figured. And it's they actually use what is the sleeping pad?
The X-Bed.
Yeah, the X-Bed Mega Mat Duo, which is super comfortable, but it's not nearly as big as our bigger than queen bed, so we would have to sleep pretty close to each other again, which is why I was looking at the Go Fast, because you get a king size bed in that.
Yeah. Someone said to just do a 4x4 van with a Quigley conversion. It's just too much money for a part-time rig. Like,
Quigley conversion I heard is like 20 grand plus.
Yeah.
And a personal opinion, if you 4x4 the shit out of a van, it's still not an off-road rig. I believe the Quigley conversion's pretty capable, but you're still like super high center of gravity.
Yeah, you're hitting tree branches.
Yeah, you're tall. I don't see it personally. But it would get you a lot further than a normal one. And then I don't know who's going to work on it when it breaks, all that.
So the other benefit to doing a truck is that we would have like a very mobile modular camping setup inside, and we can take it out when we're not camping and on trips and have the farm truck, which we will need a farm truck. So
and we can
the van, it's gonna go away at some point so that we can.
And we could buy a casita travel trailer if we needed to, which was what we were gonna do before we even got a van 4 years ago.
For part-time travel.
When I did have a pickup truck. Everybody, don't forget to hit that like button.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. All right. Does anybody want to keep going, or are we boring you yet? Because I'm fine. This is going good, but
send us more questions. We can always think of more things to talk about. 4 years living in a van.
Brian, we should talk about trucks sometime. I'm sure you've done some research. Do a trailer as a base camp and tow. So I'm assuming that means have a trailer also, drop it, and then go off on these little adventures. I've thought about that. I like it. I keep struggling in life with excessivism. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Excess.
We're trying to be minimalist. We really feel like we need to live simply.
Which $50,000 base price truck isn't that either. I could buy a used one, but I want reliability, but I am really torn. Like these mega houses being built everywhere, and all this stupid building restrictions in all the counties, and we're running out of land. Yet places don't want us to build small homes. I don't know. I don't get it, but I'm trying to have less of a footprint. But I have thought about it, and I also thought if we bought land in Mexico, we could just leave a trailer on it.
Yeah.
And be good.
Yeah, and they do make, like Brian just said, a teardrop trailer. Like, they do make some pretty off-road capable trailers that we could look at. I think we're just trying to, like, minimize the amount of things that we're buying and having and carrying around. So we do know that a truck camper with a pop top will be much less comfortable than the van, much less roomy. But I think that's the next phase of life, is like shorter trips, and then we're able to manage less luxury, I guess, for a simpler setup.
All right, we got a couple good ones. How's the storage situation with the surfboard?
Well, there's one right here.
She's leaning. Yeah, she's leaning against one right now. This is a 6'6", strapped under the bed, and then I have a 9'8" on our surf rack outside. We can put 4 boards outside. There's 2 spots to put boards, but then I double stacked them. Starts getting a little thick with 2 out there.
Yeah.
Too thick.
With
but
the
it's capable.
surfboard rack, that's changed the game entirely. Our first van did not have one, and the board was inside.
In the front seat. I couldn't
under the bed.
There was no longboard in here.
We had the Wavestorm like
8 foot
under here for that first Baja trip.
We moved it every day.
So
pain in the ass.
Outside.
Yeah. So she doesn't surf.
Situation.
So I had to figure out a solution to get the boards outside or out of the way. So that's what we're doing now.
Good question though.
Brian says teardrop trailer with a 6-inch lift.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked about doing teardrops, and I think that could be really rad. But I'm wondering if you really get into some like serious off-roading, because this truck, their lockers front and rear, like it's doing. If you look up some videos of ZR2 doing some gnarly stuff, like it's capable, and I don't know how about dragging a trailer over all that stuff. I'm sure it would go, but it sounds like you could get stuck easier. And then Scott says build out a 6x8 cargo trailer. That'd feel pretty small.
There's one of those in the Walmart parking lot with us right now, actually.
Yeah, but he's bigger than 8.
Yeah.
Because we're like 12 feet. I couldn't live in that small, but we could do it.
Yeah, the trailer we could live in while we build on the land, and that's a really good option. We're considering what those options are now. A lot of it depends on where we end up with land, because some places won't let you live in like an RV while you build. You have to be building like your living area first, and you can move into that. So ideally we don't end up in a place with restrictions like that, because it probably isn't going to be a good fit long term.
Yeah, I don't like restrictions.
So
little known fact, we did live in a 19-foot I think it was a 1978 camper when we had our last home built, and it was way less comfortable than the van by a long shot. But we did it, and we know we can do it. We would definitely just need to make one a little better. I was trying to find it so I could show you it.
It was this crappy camper that we bought for like $600. And
we got it pretty cheap.
When we went to go tour it, the guy had all the windows open, and it looked fine and it smelled fine. We brought it home, and then the next day I went to open it up to like clean it out and get it ready, and it smelled so bad. It was like disgusting cigarette smoke smell, and yeah, it took like a whole weekend to clean it out, but we managed. And so I think it's just like, it's important to know. And I think this is something that we've learned over time in the van too, is that you don't need a lot. Like, you don't need much to live to be comfortable. You can get adapted to a lot and get used to a lot, and we don't need fancy stuff or fancy tiny home, design. It just needs to be functional and efficient. That's what's more important to us. So yeah, hopefully the truck camper will be that way, and then whatever we end up building on this farm will be that way too.
Yeah, and if you get bored, scroll through our old photos and relive our life, because I can't seem to find the picture of it right now.
Yeah, it's fine. Just imagine a really crappy old camper.
And then living in it in the winter when we weren't supposed to.
Should we introduce the dog? If we don't have any more Questions?
We got truck camper for us supporting the farm dual use. Yeah, I know, right? You can justify it, anything if you think about it. But yeah.
Buddy.
He's passed out, but she's going to get him for you.
Come here.
Tail's wagging.
Come say hi.
So this might open a can of worms because
come, buddy. Come here.
he whines a lot when
Come here.
when things
Come
change
here.
for him.
Come on.
He's coming slowly.
Come say hi.
So these are the noises he makes.
This is our new friend, Buddy. And he is really cute.
He was passed out. She said, "Why are you waking me up?"
Sorry, he's so tired. I know.
So yeah. This is why we don't know how long we're gonna have him either. He is a good dog though.
If you know anything about beagles, you know that they get separation anxiety, and he's just kind of a whiny dog.
Alright, so it's great we're doing this while we're young. They're looking at retirement travel while deciding where to settle in a tiny home. I love that. I've talked about tiny. He's just gonna go lay back down. That's great. Should get him going.
He'll be fine.
We've talked about tiny homes, like traditional on a trailer tiny home that, you know, what you're used to seeing tiny homes that you don't see them on the road because they don't travel well.
Built on a flat trailer.
Like on a big trailer.
Yeah.
I've kind of always been anti them because we've toured some and they're just kind of narrow and long and funky layouts. And if I'm gonna put it on a property and it's gonna stay, I'd probably just build on a, you know, foundation of some sort. But just the other day when I was mad at the man, you can't avoid permitting by doing that. Mm-hmm. So there's the toss up there on what you want to do. What?
What was that from Scott? My next door has a beagle. Hollows all the time. Yeah.
A little holler.
They're noisy.
How's the clearance with the bike hitch off the back? Do I have a raised hitch receiver? No, we don't have a raised hitch receiver. We do have the rack attached swing out rack, which then I guess technically it goes up one notch, right? Because it's on the upper.
Yeah.
So it's on the upper arm, so I guess it might be raised a little bit based off of that. Which, do your own research. I think it's only rated 250 pounds. It hasn't fallen off yet. We've had it on there for a long time. Mm-hmm. We've beat the crap out of it. Yeah. It's done fine. But when we do get on steep angles, we drag sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's fine. It's
the motor tow rack's badass, though, and it just keeps going. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not even worried about that thing anymore.
Yeah, we just drag it. Have we had any tasty local brews recently?
No, as a matter
Actually,
of fact.
we were at the Tennessee Brew Distillery the other night, which is a Harvest Host
in
place
Johnson City, Tennessee.
In Johnson City, Tennessee.
They had an excellent porter.
They had an excellent porter, which I drank a lot of them.
It was an expensive evening.
And yeah, so we got a little buzzed.
We
Spent
also had
$50 at the brewery.
Pizza delivered.
And then, delivered
It
pizza.
took forever to get there.
Garlic
I was starving.
nuts. But yeah, it was good beer.
Pretty good.
And we had their Gosa, which was good. Their IPAs, these were just tasters. We had a lot of the pints of the porter. But pretty much everything was good there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so if you're going through Johnson City,
Tennessee
stop
Hills
by,
Brew
check them out.
Distillery.
The Harvest Host part of that one, the train comes a lot.
Oh my
and
God,
it's right
we didn't
next
get
to you.
any sleep.
So you're not going
I'd
to
just
sleep
go
there.
for a beer and then leave. Don't sleep there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But it's nice that they offer it. Yeah, only reason to keep it on wheels is for taxes. I agree with that, right? Because you're skirting the system. Buddy for the farm. Yeah.
The problem is the farm is an undetermined length of time.
We don't know when that's
now.
happening. We're coming into the hottest part of the year, and now we have this giant kennel in here because I don't trust to leave him out.
He's pretty cute, though. No dogs in the van, though. It's a hard, fast rule. It's been a rule since the beginning, and it will continue to be a rule until we get a place.
Ooh, we're getting side combo here. Container home, we talked about that with our old builder. For a builder to do it for us, they were going to charge a ton of money because we found a really cool one in Costa Rica that was only like $100,000. They told us they were going to charge like $350,000 to do the same 1,000 square foot structure in the U.S. because of insulation needs and all that kind of jazz. So I think if we ever did container home, which we still might, I think we would do it ourselves.
It's more common now too than we were built. Yeah. Like we were trying to build in like 2013, 2014. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we would look into it again because they are cool and very like minimalist. You know, you're reusing things, which we like that aspect of.
I think Brian might be asking if that saves much over stick built, which I was just saying is expensive.
Yeah, it can be.
They are narrow space, but if you put two together, they get just right.
That's how it gets
wide.
Expensive though, because they're not structurally like made to be cut open and stuff. So you got to worry about that.
Yeah, I'm always sweet to the bartender, so we always ask if we can stay.
Bye, Brooke. Thank you for joining.
Bye, Brooke.
If you meet anybody that wants Buddy, let us know.
And is it Darrow?
Yeah.
Off. Thank you for stopping by. Looks like it's time to start wrapping this thing up, huh?
Yeah,
Anybody else?
It's getting late on the East Coast.
What's it? Almost 10 o'clock here, isn't it?
9.
It's almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We're on the East Coast.
I know.
Oh, you confused me. It's getting late over here. It's almost our bedtime. Anybody else have any questions before we call it a night? I'll just sit here awkwardly for a second. Bedtime here. Yeah, I agree. All right, folks.
Getting tired.
Well, we appreciate you all for coming. Hit the little thumbs up button. If you didn't, I don't know if it does anything for us, but maybe some more views will happen on this thing after the fact. If you come up with any questions, send them to us anytime. We want to help share our experience with you. And if you're on our Instagram, you know, we're just going to bombard you with dog content for the time being until he starts paying the bills.
Yep.
Okay. Appreciate y'all. Have we made that flower crown yet? Oh, Lauren. No.
I made a flower bracelet
She made a flower bracelet. And then I actually had a long thought about what I was going to do with the flower crown. I was going to actually do a whole story of making one. So I might do that still.
Stay tuned. Exciting stuff.
Yeah. Keep up the short Instagrams. Yeah, that's a lot of work. The shorts or the short
reels.
Instagram?
Are you talking about the reels?
The stories or the reels?
Thanks, Scott. It was great having you. Good luck on your conversion. I know you've been cranking it out.
Yeah.
So
I want to see pictures soon.
We're excited to hear your progress every time you message us. And we may see you in Baltimore. We're not sure. Depends on if you're still there when we end up in that area. We'll let you know. Thanks, Daniel. Good to have you.
All right, everybody's rolling.
Yep.
A short Insta about short shorts.
Good idea. That's legit.
I actually have my own Instagram called Short Shorts Adventures. I don't know how to log into it anymore. It's got 2 posts, though. You should go like them. All right, we're doing it. I don't know how to end this, so we're going to just talk to the thing, but thank you all for coming. We will talk to you soon. That's not the X.